Leo and Shichel.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we now find ourselves in the game. The map is, of course, once again, we mentioned it, Tomb of the Spider Queen, CLG versus Evil Murkies. And let's actually take a look here at the lineup once again. On the left side, in the blue colors, we see Casual Logic Gaming, Nicker. On the Kalthas, Kreku. On Falstad, Leo from Korea. On the Karazim, Shichu. On Nubarek and Arzif on Johanna.
Whereas on the right-hand side, in the red trucks, it is going to be the Evil Murkies playing the Stitches. It's Sleeping, aka ZZZZZ. Playing on the Zool, it is going to be Arakim, the Sylvanas, being played by Venabilly. We're going to see Zagara being played by Q, and the Rhaegar being played by Lothari. And I don't recognize quite a few of these names on their team, actually. It's not the same roster we saw at Tours.
Yeah, exactly. We only know Q and, you know, no Danatan, for example, who was probably one of the
Q and Arakin are the two I recognize.
Yeah, but it is indeed a very new lineup, so it's going to be interesting to see how these more unknown players can actually prove themselves here. And if you guys are wondering, hey, what is this show match all about, and what can you actually win today? So the teams themselves, they win a little bit of prize money. I think first place wins 500 euros, the second one 250, and then we have 150 or something like that. I don't know the exact numbers, but they're definitely going to win a lot of cash here. And as you can see, my preparation for this tournament has been going through the roof. I'm actually just going to reduce the in-game sound a little bit. I think it's probably a little bit too loud. So just let me know, guys, if the volume is better now.
So for now, we're having both teams roaming as 4 between the mid lane and the top lane, just clearing the minion waves as quick as possible, but of course, Zool and Sylvanas will have a huge advantage in this, even with Kael'thas, who's able to burst stuff down, whereas the Bugs, battling in the bot lane, trading around with each other, doing a bit of poke, but Zagara able to come out ahead because her Hunter Killer just able to lock on to Shichel and drop him down. Carapace only lasts for a certain amount of time, not able to protect against that damage force too long.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit like a love story here in the bottom.
Good hook.
Oh, there was a hook in the middle. Basically going back here, and Leo from Korea taking a little bit of damage here, but it is indeed the Murkies that will have to back out there. The hammering not really connecting there. But yeah, both teams a little bit of a headbutting in the middle of the map. Let's actually take a look at talents here. Some talents have been changed with the recent patches. We see a lot more quest talents indicated now by the yellow bar around the symbol or around the icon, and you can really just, you know, pursue the progression on these questing talents, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, and some of the other talents we see, we also see we also see Falstad going back to that wonderful auto-attack Falstad style, which we didn't see as much due to the fact that the Gathering Storm build was super, super strong. But now we're seeing him back on that lovely Season Marksman talent, which is now quest talent, but he's now going to be able to stack very nicely, especially seeing as he is doing that roam between the two lanes, gets rooted, the chase is on, there's the shield from Karazim, and he gets out, that protective shield, very nicely done.
Absolutely, that was a last-second save here for Kreku. Definitely a big shout-out to Leo from Korea. On the Karazim, the protective shield proving to be ever so precious. You know, and Karazim, one of those heroes, one of the supports that I like to play a lot.
Q.
But in the bottom lane, we see Q
Run!
being chased by the Beetle, buddy.
Oh. That's slow, he dodges, Beetle! Oh, he's out.
Yeah, and now Shichu all of a sudden finds himself surrounded by a big fat man who wants to play with him.
Oh, the Beetle blocked the hook. So Nubarek's gonna get out there. That lucky Beetle though, Karazim gets hooked in, but he's able to dash out to Nika.
Yeah, so we see a lot of early game aggression here indeed, and that Beetle proving to be the MVP. And it is really cool to see Nubarek back in the meta because he is such a cool hero when it comes to blocking skill shots in general. I mean, everybody who has ever played against Nubarek and played a hero like, I don't know, Murden, Stitches, who are really dependent on some of their skill shots, well, sometimes, you know, these Beetles can actually be a little bit of an obstacle.
Yeah, there are, like you said, there's a lot of people who, back in the day, Nubarek was considered the, I guess, the kind of counter to, where you could just get the Beetles out, and then there were heroes where it was like, well, back when Nubarek was in the meta, it was like, well, we can't really pick him against Kael'thas, because at that time, chain bombs hit everything, so you were just giving more targets with the Beetles, so more potential damage for your team.
Yeah, exactly, and once again, we see a battle here going on in the middle of the lane. CLG taking a little bit more damage here. We can really see that this crowd control potential that the Murkies have at their disposal with the Bone Prison, with the Stitches hook, is quite deadly. And also, we must not forget about the poison damage later on. I mean, Sylvanas already a beast when it comes to that, but also Zul, if he really picks that Poison Nova as a level 10 ability, I think Karazim as the only hero might be a little bit in trouble.
Yeah, that is definitely potential. He can drop a lot of healing, but he is going to have to keep up with a lot of damage, like you said. Stitch is even adding with the Bile.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, going with the full slam build as well, which is assisting once again with just the clearing of the lanes here, which right now, gem numbers pretty even for the teams, but a little bit in favour of the Evil Murkies, and they're actually getting theirs turned in. Whereas we are seeing Casual Logic, who are pretty much having to hold theirs, and they can't really get to the turn-in area.
Yeah, and something that I found particularly interesting when watching pro games over the last couple of days and weeks is that this trend of going for 1.5 supports or even 2 supports has been dwindling a little bit, right? So none of these teams actually going for a Tassadar, no team going for a Tyrande, excuse me. So they're both going for a very classic approach here, only with a Rhaegar, only with a Karazin.
Yeah, which is still quite cool. I would also like to point out that we aren't seeing the classic that we usually see from the Evil Murkies of basically picking Malfurion above everything else in any situation ever. But that might have something to do with the player swaps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you have a player swap in your team, you can really go for the same stuff that you played before, because the players might actually not be used to certain heroes. They might have different preferences, as you mentioned, Tetcher, so definitely something to keep in mind here. Now, in terms of kills, this game has been pretty uneventful. It is still 0-0. We're still waiting for the first blood to take place.
Best efforts from Stitches aside, he has put a lot of effort into attempting to get those first bloods, but not able to get it. But both teams hitting their level 7s right now, and Juve taking a bit of damage, but Kael'thas is here, and he's able to drop a little bit of damage. Tries to drop a stun, but once again, it's caught by a skeleton this time. So Zul filling a similar role of Anubarak here by just filling the board here with just too much stuff for some of those skill shots to hit.
Yeah, and we still see that Beetle versus Zerg Queen, so to speak, in the bottom lane. Not really a whole lot has happened, but Sagara, as you mentioned earlier, look at that creep spread. It's almost remembering me of StarCraft 2 days, where the whole map was covered in creep by the end of the game. Really cool to see her, and that really explains why Sagara is able to push as she can, because these creep terms, they provide vision, they provide a little bit more health regeneration, and movement speed, most importantly. So Sagara usually a very safe pick to put in a single lane.
Yes, and on this map, like you said, it's so small, so having vision of when you're about to get ganked is beautiful. Stitch is getting locked down, but tanking through it. And the root does land on Johanna, but Johanna gives 0 craps. Will move up to begin defending against the remainder of this minion wave. And the Web Weaver still at very high health, so this fort will go down. But mid fort has been cleared up, the mid Web Weaver, sorry, and Anubarak is defending the bottom 1-2. So they will survive that, but the damage has been done here by the Evil Murkies, and as such, they hit their heroics.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Sagara hasn't picked her heroic ability yet, so maybe a little bit of a mind game going on, but the Nidus Worm still hasn't really proven to be, like, super good in competitive. In fact, I've never seen a team going for it. It's a little bit of a cheese strategy, I might want to say, but all in all, the Maw still pretty good, although, you know, you can no longer go for this battle momentum that would actually help you reduce the cooldown at 7, because it has been changed. Now, only basic abilities are affected by it, so the Maw has a longer cooldown than ever, but it is still a force to be reckoned with. Now here we go, a team fight might actually erupt here in the middle. Wailing Arrow coming in.
There comes the Poison Nova, though. They're trying to turn it around. Arakin gets Ancestral. Leo dropping low. The poison is on him. He's able to drop some healing, though. Everyone attacking through this, but Kraku finally ticks over some poison and gets taken down. There's the stun onto Rhaegar to try and give Juve a more chance to escape, and the rest of them do get out, so that is a 1-for-1. Zul and Falstad both being taken out.
Yeah, pretty good action here. Now, finally, with some kills. In terms of gems, of course, Team Evil Murkies, they have had their first wave of Web Weavers already, but they are trying to go for the second one, and there we go. Enough pretty little gems have been turned in. ZZZ here going with a Stitches hook, maybe, but Johanna, of course, really not a good target to choose. She has her Iron Skin ready to block it whenever it is there, so definitely good stuff. In terms of heroic abilities, we don't really see a lot of interesting stuff, except for Anubarak, because he went for something that I really do like, the Locust Swarm, especially if you are a little bit of a bruiser type of hero next to a Johanna, next to a Murden, maybe, who are going to do most of the soaking and tanking. You can really go with the Locust Swarm, deal a lot of damage, and be very tanky as well.
Yeah, this talent's very popular on a Nubarak, where he is
Double
actually going to
Maul,
get bored here, so they should be fine. Mighty Gus disengaging a bit, they
Wow.
drop a lot of health, but the rest of the team is on point. The Nubarak very low, their palm does not
Stitches
pop, but they
actually
take down Stitches.
They take down Stitches, and now Nicker is being chased here by the Dogmaster. Of course, Rhaegar going after him. Sylvanas joining the fray here. Beautiful coordination and a sick kill with a Haunting Wave over the wall. Really, really good stuff here. And when you have Sylvanas in the enemy team and you lose a team fight while the web viewers are online, you are in a lot of trouble because she can disable those buildings with her black arrows.
Yeah, Webweaver still pushing forward here. Out comes the wave, gonna not hit Falstad there, but still allowing them to push up, get a huge amount of damage done with this due to having everyone except for Stitches up, but they're still able to get some damage done. But now, with Stitches not so far away, we're seeing an attempted punishment coming out by Casual Gaming, trying to chase it down, but not going to be able to get it.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, the red team, known as Evil Murkies, they have to pull away for now, but they got a lot of damage done. Not only in the mid lane, but also in the bottom. Destroyed the second tower in the inner defense circle, so to speak, and they also did a little bit of damage to the middle keep here, and they also have a nice lead in terms of global XP. So, they're really dominating the battlefield. Once again, we have to highlight all this creep tumor. It's basically covering more than the half of their map here, so they always have a good indication of when the blue team, when the CLG actually tries to move outside, and then they can adjust their own movement and rotations accordingly.
Yeah, they are looking pretty solid right now. While we're just seeing them take mercenary campus, I just want to ask you a quick question. Did you see the in one of the heroes chats on Skype? Someone linked like the old build for Tyrael, like the old talents that he used to have on release.
Oh yeah.
It was so good because you mentioned like Zagara. Oh yeah, battle momentum on like none of the heroes affects heroics anymore. There was a talent on Tyrael that was just like heroics reduced by 30% cooldown. Have fun with that. And that's it. Just a talent that's just like nope, your heroic has 30% less cooldown time now. And I was like, wow, this game was balanced when it came out.
And then of course we all know the good times when his E actually could cast away people, you know, cast them to the side, interrupting channeling abilities as well.
Yeah, and he also had a holy ground on level 7.
Oh, beautiful. Like it's always cool to see, like, in hindsight, how some of these talents, some of the heroes were ridiculously OP in today's meta. Venabili, oh, too late here. Lothar actually a little bit late with the Ancestor Healing. Now Zagara is a little bit of a pinch here. The Maw hitting nobody. That was a panic button.
It was. He was trying to catch Sheku, who just came in from the side, but she didn't get him. And huge amounts of damage coming out. Arakin gets Ancestral, but he's still so separated. But everyone's really low thanks to this Poison Nova. Leo palms himself, not going to be activated here. But it did force Anubrak to back up, but Leo takes some serious damage. And we will see everyone else from the Evil Murkies back up, but that's still a 2-for-1 in favor of Casual Logic Gaming.
Yeah, that was pretty good considering the odds. I mean, they are still behind in XP, and they were actually pushed into their own half of the map quite a bit. So they survived with just a sliver of health here on KT, for example, and Karzim. But hey, only the result is what really matters. And Arzov, man, he's a ballsy Crusader there, teleporting back in the face of the enemy. Guys, don't do this at home, especially not in Hero League and Team League. It might cost you dearly.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't be back in front of enemies. Or in lane just when a minion wave's coming up and they just get denied by a minion. Oh, the worst thing. But for now, we are seeing Casual Gaming taking a little bit more control. They're still way pushed up. They haven't taken a single fort. But these Web Weavers are de-pushing the lanes that have been pushed up for them. So they're getting a bit more freedom on the map. They're racing towards that level 16, which is going to hit way earlier for the Evil Murkies. So this is what Casual Logic Gaming is trying to do. Just catch up in XP at the moment and put themselves back in a situation where they can fight on even footing again.
Absolutely, and if we take a look at the talent build here for the Evil Murkies, for example, we see a slam-heavy Stitches build, almost like JPL made it popular when he played the tank role for Dignitas most of the time. Always cool to see like how a single warrior goes for a super aggressive build path, and I think pretty much Stitches is one of the few, or if not the only warriors that can really do that and get away with it.
Yeah, there are one or two, but Stitches is definitely the most key one due to the huge amount of AoE he does. Right now, though,
talking about Stitches,
AoE or nothing, he harassed for a second and then died with a lot of gems, actually. So now we're seeing Evil Murkies going in anyway. They get Shield here. Araken going ham in the front line here. There's the Maw catching one person, but Sylvanas turned on by Kreku with that ultimate build, doing huge damage.
These warriors are just falling like flies.
The totem!
Big slowing totem here from Rhaegar, slowing down Johanna, and now the Bone Prison coming in. She is a goner.
88 gems! So many gems have been dropped here from the side of Casual Logic Gaming, and they are all going to expire. 17 gems are now in their inventory when they had over 100. That is catastrophic for them.
Someone just robbed the gem bank here by the Evil Murkies. I mean, a beautiful display. And as you mentioned, not only Stitches, but also Anubarak and Johanna, they all fell so quickly. It's actually just punishing us here for telling how Stitches can be a super resilient tank, but hey, for the action, we're definitely going to be proven wrong here, so no biggie. And as you mentioned, the Evil Murkies... Oh, there's a pause apparently. Maybe some problems here with Shiku's internet connection. But yeah, let's actually take this moment to sort of reiterate what was going on here. The Casual Logic Gaming team here is in a little bit of a pinch here. They haven't really pushed a lot, as we pointed out. They are about to lose their middle keep, which is still fairly low, just there, and they don't really have a mule, because most heroes these days that have a mule in their talent tree aren't really that competitive, right?
That makes me sad. I like mule.
Yeah, such a cute little tiny buddy here.
It's a really strong talent. Like, it is the difference between winning and losing. Just like, oh, our cause of 4%, now we can't leave our base in case they backdoor, but we have a mule. Then it's literally just a matter of time of protect until the mule gives us a chance to leave.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are some talents which are still like considered to be a niche pick. The scouting drones, for example, I like them quite a bit, but
especially on this map.
Yeah, especially in this map where the distance between the lanes is fairly low, and it's fairly short. So some of these talents, you know, they're just being picked up by certain players in certain situations, although they are kind of cool. Let's see. Let's take a look at the talent build here a little bit. Nothing new on Zul, for example. I really do like the skeleton build. Gives you a lot of sustain, a lot of mana regen, a lot of health regen. But once again, Stitches, man, not having a good day. Apparently, you know, CLG, they don't want to play with him today.
Yeah, Stitches made the interesting decision there of trying to go for a hook, got the hook, and then everyone else turned up. Really not going so well for him there. His team was not there to follow up.
We're actually all here. So once again, you know, Evil Murkies, they are down. They were missing their warriors, but they have another wave of web weavers, which unfortunately I think is going to mean the end of the middle keep for CLG. Let's be honest, this keep is going to fall.
Yeah, they could just walk in and hit that. Sylvanas just needs to disable it. The skeletons on their own may get this, actually. Anubarak coming in to try and at least get some kills out of this. Falstad flying in. There's the gust catching everyone. Johanna pulls them all in. The damage is huge. And down goes the Gara to start with. Falstad chasing down Rhaegar. They're trying to get Sylvanas as well. Sylvanas teleports away, but they are chasing her down. The fire from Anubarak is good. They take her down, but Rhaegar escaped in dog mode.
Yeah, doggy mode, definitely OP her, but Sylvanas, of course, not really in Banshee mode, so to speak. The Haunting Wave not enough to save her this time, but they got some everlasting structural damage in the middle. So although they lose 2 heroes, it is not nearly the end of the world. They can actually sit back now and say, okay guys, you had a little bit of an upper hand in this team fight, but guess what? We're going to have catapults until the end of the game. And that, of course, means a lot of additional lane pressure and more pushing power with a Zagara, with a Sylvanas, and with a Zul. Now, CLG, they have to capitalize on this victory and get a little bit of value out of it, at least, and they're going for the boss. I mean, the boss on Tomb of the Bride of Queen, a little bit of a risky call here whenever you do it, because there's no real, like, escape route. Once you're trapped in the pit, you are actually committed. But, you know, with the enemy team just losing 2 members, I think it's fairly safe to actually take it.
Yeah, they will get this. They may get punished on the way out, but overall, it should be fine. But we do have a saving grace here for CLG as well as getting that boss. They do have Falstad on the team, which means in the whole defending the base thing due to those catapults, he can just go back, defend the base, and then fly in to help his team, especially with level 20 approaching in about a level's time where he could get that epic mount, but he won't matter if he gets killed off here, but there's a good barrel roll, and the just to disengage.
Vanabilly, man. Sylvanas not having a good day today. I mean, she is a very mobile hero. She can usually escape 1 or 2 skill shots easily with her Haunting Wave, but not in this game. And now, of course, CLG, they are on the warpath. They want to go in, but the counter maw hitting 3 people.
Yeah, let's see the counter damage. There's the Bailing's getting a kill there. That's not usual. Leo drops the palm. We're seeing Rhaegar holding out until that disappears. Instead turns it onto Juf and now backs away. He will survive, but they're able to get a Nubarak as well. And we're seeing the Murkies push in here. They find Nika with the totem, take him down. They're after Juf as well. Hook gets him. He pops the iron skin. That will prevent him from the root, but the damage is good behind him. In comes Rhaegar. Can they get him? He's so low, and he will escape.
Yeah, where's the Benny Hill music when you really need it? I mean, they are chasing them until the end of the world, and the core. Karn's now the target, and they get him. But Arjuf, he's still going strong. Has another iron skin, and he shoots it all the way. Ding, ding, ding. He is safe. Johanna is safe, but we cannot say the same thing about the core here, guys. I think this may be the end. Catapults in the base, minions there as well, and 4 heroes from the Evil Murkies. The core drops down to 30%, 25%, and there we go. This is it. GG. A very solid, a very nice game here by the Evil Murkies, really using their crowd control very well, you know, locking people down, a lot of siege damage, a lot of pushing power. So really cool to see. It makes me a little bit sad though that Anubarak wasn't able to get the first win of the day.
All right.